Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. Yet again,
3 minutes until showtime.
we hope you all enjoy yourselves. And as you can hear, we are about 3 minutes out from starting the actual program. That's when all the automation and everything kicks off, and we get to today, first hour, computer and technology news. I have a wide variety of selections that I think you're all really going to enjoy. So, yeah, I hope you enjoy talking about new technology. We're going to do some stuff about Dropbox actually lost about 70 million of your guys' logins. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Mine probably too, but I didn't keep anything important there. We're going to talk about maybe some fossils. 3.7 billion years old. That's pretty newsworthy. Yeah, that's pretty old. And not only that, but we're going to do we're even going to talk about the reason why the Samsung Galaxy S7 is going to be delayed. Yes, and spoiler alert.
2 minutes until showtime.
Spoiler alert. It's because of explosions. So yeah, let's hope that whole thing gets gets resolved. And again, just sit back and enjoy. We hope to have a very, very we hope to have a very, very enjoyable show for you. Again, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer and operator of GizWiz.biz, he will be joining us as well. So, but that is in the second hour, and we always have a good time there. Again, I just want to apologize up front for saying that we will not be having any kind of special visual effects. We will not be showing the websites. We will not be showing video. Again, that will come probably in a week or two. We'll get all that back up and running, and maybe even break out the green screen again because I found that pretty fun. We could do a lot of cool things.
1 minute until showtime.
We could do a lot of cool things with the green screen. So green screen on the horizon, and Craig, of course, still out sick. He will be back at his soonest convenience. But until then, you're stuck with me. And when you're stuck with me, you're in a good spot because I think people like being stuck with me. Whenever elevators crash and I'm on them, people love talking to me and telling me, that the elevator has obviously crashed. I don't know why you tell me, but I've inferred that it can. But they still, they still look to me and say it's your fault, and I usually say probably. That's how most of my transactions or my interactions go in the real life. So, anywho, as you've heard, the robot lady, we have the show starting in about 20 seconds. Sit back, enjoy 2 hours of my shrill voice as we do computer technology news, and again, the GizWiz Dick DeBartolo for 2 hours. So
your show will go
here we
live
go.
in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show about computers and technology. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast, and I'm your host, Ben Crossman. We are on day 3 of Craig Alerts. If you have seen Craig out in the wild, please throw a net on him, capture him. We need that man back in here. But until we do, we are stuck with the ever infamous Ben Crossman. So, all right, so and we continue on here. We have a great show planned for all of you today. We have computer and technology news, of course, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. In the first hour, in the second hour, we have a long time correspondent of the show, Mr. Dick DeBartolo, and he goes out to conventions, he goes out to trade shows and things like that, and always finds just the coolest things for us to talk about. So yeah, we're gonna talk about him, and we're gonna talk with him for the whole second hour. He has a lot of things. You can find those over at GizWiz.biz, and of course find them. I'm sorry, and find them. Find all the things that he has found with links, places to buy them, all that sort of thing. So Okay, and again, in the first hour, we are doing, computer technology news. So, without much stalling for time, we are going to uh, just jump right into it. So, here we go. This is computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. So, here we go. And computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, as I've said 100 times before, the official optimization software of Computer America. Visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. Slimwareutilities.com. And I skipped a lot of the preamble, and we should probably get to that. If you want to get in touch with myself or anyone here on the show and get your thoughts on something I'm talking about, or you have a question for the guest, normally we let you call in at 347-884-8881. I just gave you the number, and now I'm going to tell you to not use it because, again, no one to work the soundboard and no one to weed out the crazies. So we are going to stick strictly to the questions. And if you go to computeramerica.com, you will find underneath the live stream button right there, it's on the bar. It will be submit a question. Go to submit a question, and we will get that during the show. After the show, we will get that, and we will talk about it. If it's a comment or a question, we will answer it, and all will be good. All will be good. So, with that said, uh, let's see, we did that. If you have any questions about what we are doing here, head on over to computeramerica.com, and it has all of our show notes. It has links to websites that we talk about, to definitely our guest today. We're going to have links up for him. And yeah, just everything that we do here at Computer America is going to be found at computeramerica.com. One other thing I should mention is that this Friday, we will indeed be having a social media winner of the week. And with that social media winner of the week, we will be, we'll be giving away a prize from our friends over at Logitech. They provide us oodles and oodles and oodles of stuff to give away. And so every Friday, we give away one prize to a social media follower. So head on over to Facebook, to YouTube, to Twitter, to insert any other place you can find Computer America. Just follow, like, subscribe, whatever it may be, and you will have an entry into the contest. And again, you can have multiple entries by following us in multiple places, and maybe even find yourself a winner of one of these great prizes. So we continue on. Let's see, we have the contest, we have how to contact the show, we have who we've mentioned who's going to be on the show today. We play the music for the news, and I think we're just going to jump right into that. So, like I said before, we have tons and tons and tons of great stories. So why don't we start with something a little bit more sciencey? While we're still fresh, we're not worn out from the long show. Let's start with something a little bit more sciencey, and let's do this one. Is from a publication called Fifth Avenue News, and yeah, it's a little convoluted because there's so many buzzwords, but let's see if we can follow along here. Startupdrive.ai will use deep learning to teach self-driving cars how to solve problems and communicate with humans. As if there was any other scarier sentence you could put together by taking technology that almost no one understands and putting it all together into one service and saying, right. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So we have, and the article, again, kind of starts off saying that Drive AI, which is a startup focused on self-driving car technology, is looking to teach driverless vehicles how to communicate with humans using deep learning, which, of course, is an advanced form of artificial intelligence. So the startup, which was founded by former graduate students under the Artificial Lab of Stanford, the Artificial Intelligence Lab of Stanford University, only recently revealed itself and its plans, along with the addition of former General Motors director Steve Gursky as a board member. It's quite impressive that they got someone from General Motors of all places to help them with their car initiative. So Drive AI has been able to raise funding worth about $12 million from a venture capital company and strategic investors. It was forced out of stealth mode back in April when the California government awarded the startup with a testing license for self-driving vehicles in the state, but it was not clear what exactly Drive.ai was working on. And now we know. It has now been revealed that that Drive AI is developing. I'm sorry. Whoa, there we go. Lost my stuff. Anyways, it has now been revealed that Drive AI is developing an autonomous driving system that will utilize deep learning in every aspect of the technology. So the self-driving vehicle will be given a large number of samples, situations, and objects, with this system then extrapolating the learning that it acquires from these samples to decide on what to do when it encounters new experiences. When they say machine learning, it's not anything really weird. I mean, it's very impressive that they're able to teach, robots, what are essentially zeros and ones, to analyze, not just to analyze, but to infer conclusions out of those because it sounds so very human. When they use the term artificial intelligence, that is the best name for it because it's taking, was again essentially a very, very well programmed, device and saying, well, if we see a child chasing a ball towards a sidewalk, then we can almost infer that because of the speed and the direction, we know that children like to chase, little objects, and that there's a potential for them to run out into the middle of the road. So, given enough scenarios, given 10,000 different scenarios of children chasing objects near roadways, or given 10,000 situations of a tractor trailer on a highway, trying to change lanes, given 100,000 different situations where a pickup truck, may be swerving from lane to lane. Given enough information, this artificial intelligence is going to be able to adapt itself, and it sounds like, by saying in every, in every aspect of its technology. I don't know if that includes how humans actually control the car or interact with the car, but at least how the car interacts around humans, that's definitely a given. So the technology that Drive AI is developing will still require a heavy amount of testing to acquire basic information, hence the application for a license in California. But the president and co founder, Carol Riley, believes that such testing will help the development of the startup system as it will be able to encounter more unique cases. So, quote, we think that deep learning is definitely the key to driving because there are so many different edge cases. And that was said in a post. Uh, Such a large number of situations would make it impossible to write a rule book that a self-driving car could follow. So using deep learning to allow the vehicle to make its own decisions based on what its sensors pick up would be would be the best way to address the situation. Quote, deep learning is the best enabling technology for self-driving cars. That is by Drive.ai CEO. And adding that while sensor input is important for the vehicle, what is really needed is a brain that will allow the self-driving car to travel safely by understanding the environment. And that is just so crucial because you can give a self-driving car all the information in the world, but we do it here on the show all the time. Whenever we talk with Craig or with correspondents, everyone likes to make those edge cases. Well, what if a nun is sitting there and it's either hit the nun or plow into the bus full of fugitives that are being transported from correction facility to correction facility, and it like they make up all these weird edge cases that I don't think I've ever heard of them happening outside of Hollywood, but I guess you can't ignore the possibilities because if you can imagine it, there could be a situation where it's not just imagined but real. So you may not run into the situation of, well, there's a four-way stop and four cars are all going to miss are all going to blow past the stop sign. There may be edge cases, but if you can teach the robot car to analyze the sensors that it's given and infer that not just what the sensors are picking up, but also infer the last time or the last 10,000 times that the sensors picked up similar readings, you'll have a better case scenario for for these cars. Makes all the sense in the world, of course. Yeah, perfect. So it makes all the sense in the world, of course, and I hope that they do a really good job of it. And yeah, there's not there. I want to say there's not a lot to it at this point, but there is so much to it that I just don't think I'm very qualified to talk about the implications of self-learning, self-driving cars. That's it. We've talked about it a couple times before. I think it's an awesome idea, and if they can get it working, if they can get it working, it's going to be better than any Google car we've seen, any Tesla autopilot we've seen. It's going to be better than all of those. So can't wait. And it's really cool that they've already applied for a license. And I think they're going to get it because I I know that so many people out there, and not just people, but so many car companies are also working on self-driving technology. So if Drive.ai, and this is the end result of tech startups. The idea of a tech startup, very few make it to Facebook status, to Twitter status, to YouTube status, to Google status. Very few make it to that part. You always have an entrepreneur out there who starts up a company, and his ultimate goal, his end game, is to sell whatever technology he's developed on his own, sell it to one of these big Fortune 500 companies, and then immediately go out and start another company and sell it again. It allows them the freedom to develop without the overarching, uh, you without all the restrictions of having a mother company. But at the same time, it allows them to really sell for the highest price. So they make a lot of money and they get to do what they want. And I think that's where Drive AI is trying to end up. I would not be surprised if they get this working and they get it to a reasonable place to see them immediately bought out by the Teslas or the Googles or the or the Fords of the world. That's just how it's going to be. So can't wait until that happens. Cannot wait. And going from self-driving cars, self-learning technology, self, super high-tech stuff, let's go over to a tech thing that didn't work exactly as planned. And I teased this a little bit earlier, but it's going to be the reason why the Galaxy Note 7 may not hit store shelves for a little while. And this isn't good. This is not good at all because this is coming from the Korean Herald, directly from the source. It is a Korean site, but hey, it's in English, so we're going to just push on through this. Samsung Electronics has suspended shipments of its latest smartphone, Galaxy Note 7, to local telecom carriers after a series of reports on the phone's explosion, a local news outlet reported today. According to Yonhap News Agency, the Korean tech giant has suspended the phone's shipments since early this week, even though the exact cause of the decision has not yet been confirmed. So they have a quote here, but they said that it is unclear whether the suspension is because of or a probe into the recent explosions. I would hope it's because of the recent explosions. Yeah, I would hope it's not just, oh yeah, one in every 4,000 or 400,000 explode a little bit. So that's okay. We're just going to ignore that. No, I'm pretty sure that the halting of shipments or a little to do with the exploding of the phones. That's not what they're supposed to do, I think. But more recently, there have been several reports in Korea and overseas claiming that the charging. No injuries from the accidents have been reported, and sources said that Samsung has also started its own investigation into the cases after collecting the phones from from customers. The company is expected to announce the results of the investigation soon. So, if you are looking at a Samsung Note 7, a Samsung Galaxy Note 7, you may have a hard time finding one because caution may explode. That's a big deal. You may also find it a little troubling to keep the one that you have. And If they do find with this probe that amount of them are defective and have the possibility to uh, blow a leg off, then I would not be surprised if they recall and you get a refund and a couple other goodies for having such a dangerous and defective phone. Uh, but we'll see what happens. In the meantime, probably wouldn't keep it anywhere near any vital organs while charging. They said that was a big thing. We've heard cases of batteries that are defective, poorly made, poor quality control. When that happens, you plug them in, they overheat, and then when they overheat, the chemicals inside the battery tend to expand. And when, as we've all seen, smartphones and phablets, they're very tightly packed together. And when they expand, they have nowhere to expand except violently all at once. Explosion. Do not keep that anywhere near anything you want to keep. So yeah, let's hope Samsung clears that up before long, because again, Samsung, they make really good phones. They make really good phones, really good phablet tablet things. They make a lot of very desirable products, and for them to millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of product that that's not going to help their bottom line. So okay, there's that one. So we went from, of course, exploding phones to self-driving cars. Why don't we go into something a little less, a little less convoluted? And okay, we got this one here. We love free stuff here on Computer America. We give away free prizes. We have an entire uh, we have an entire page on our website dedicated to free software. By the way, Slimware Utilities is indeed included on that free software. But software that doesn't cost you a dime, that may be open source, in some way is free. So when I saw this one, it matched the theme perfectly because it's such a popular game. So many people have played it. I have not even touched it, but now I might be willing to give it a chance because this is from Engadget and Mr. Aaron Suporis saying that free to play is coming to the space MMO EVE Online, where you'll now be able to explore New Eden without paying a single ISK, which is the in-game currency. After a decade of straight subscription model, the massively multiplayer space RPG EVE Online is adding a free-to-play tier. While paid accounts will still exist for new and old players alike, the new free accounts will give gamers basic access to the vast EVE universe, New Eden. It's been surprising how long Eve developer It's been surprising how long Eve developer CCP has held out on free to play. New Eden may have been home to some of the most famous conflicts in video game history, but that hasn't stopped subscribers from leaving in droves. Introduced in 2003, the game peaked with about 500,000 subscribers in 2013, which again was the last time that CCP gave official figures for subscribers. From comparing activity logs and historical player figures, the current subscription count is likely less than half of that at peak. So less than 250,000. Not going to say that's the demise of a game, but from 500 to 250, there's still a lot of players. Just you're definitely going to notice. You're definitely going to notice that drop. So dwindling player counts are a problem for many MMOs, but it's perhaps tougher on Eve than most. Rather than having tens or hundreds of servers running independently, like maybe World of Warcraft, Eve offers a single persistent universe in which all players participate, which excludes the Chinese servers. When half as many players are online in WoW, you can just visit a server that's fully populated. When the same happens in Eve, it's just half as busy as it used to be. So again, you really do notice. So CCP has been trying to increase Eve player count in many ways. Broad changes to the game, such as wormhole expeditions, faction warfare, incursion, kept gameplay fresh to a point, and regular expansions since have added new things to do. Then there was the 2013 free-to-play shooter Dust 514, which tied in heavily and, as well as being a moneymaker on its own, was supposed to attract fresh blood to the main game. They even included some new virtual reality shindigs with Eve Valkyrie and Eve Gunjack, offering action-oriented spins on New Eden. None of the changes are likely to be as significant as the switch to free to play. Uh, the company says it's been planning to make the switch for quite a while, but it's only recently been able to. It's only been recently it's been possible to do so. They have a quote here saying, "Part of our vision for the future of Eve has included more open access for some time, but with the interconnected nature of the games comes vulnerability. You knew that if the floodgates were opened in the wrong way, we could see anything from server meltdowns to the collapse of the Eve economy. Over time, our hardware has improved, code has been untangled, and we found a design we believe in." Very, very good, because when it's just one server, just one broad chance to get it right, you don't want to kill your game by trying to save it one more time. So the big influx of new free-to-play accounts should breathe fresh life into the game. The CCP hopes many gamers who left Eve over the years will come back as free players. In the universe's lore, these free-to-play accounts will be known as alpha clones. Free players can trade, mine, fight, just like anyone else, but skill progression will be slower and limited in certain fields. Outwardly, there will be no indication as to a player's subscription status, but their ship will give you a clue. Alpha clones will be stuck with the game's starter spacecraft, uh, which which only include Tech 1 frigates, destroyers, and cruisers. Again, it sounds like the free-to-play model. If you decide to not pay a dime for the subscription, then you will have access to just the bare minimum of activities and the bare minimum of technology. Of course, upgrading to a subscription model will be the obvious desired account, because no one wants to be stuck in first gear while everyone else is cruising around in fourth. It's If you've never tried Eve, I think it's going to allow people a good chance to see what it's all about. And when the article said at the very beginning, it's been home to some of the most famous battles and encounters in video game history. They aren't joking. Even I have heard of when entire factions, just huge, huge, huge coalition of players get together, and hundreds of thousands or millions of these ships come together and fight one another. And it takes days and days and weeks for these conflicts to end. But you can have those kinds of situations where you have thousands and thousands of players bring all of their resources that they've been working on for a decade, for 10 plus years, and all over the course of one fight, expend all of their resources. It's just a very, very cool idea, and it's very, very nice to see them go to free to play, because when the game doesn't have enough subscribers to keep it profitable anymore, the best thing you can do is go for it. It seems counterintuitive. Instead of raising subscription prices or making more things behind a paywall, as in raise cost, the unintuitive thing is probably the best for players, and in the end the company itself, which Lord of the Rings Online has done, and done it successfully. When you're losing money like that, by giving people an option to play for free, by taking away the pay barrier, you entice a lot of new players. And let's say maybe even 10% of all the new players who were just waiting for it to come out for free, let's say 10% really like it and really want to upgrade their account for all the bonuses you get and all that kind of thing. That leads to, sometimes, again, just like Lord of the Rings Online, sometimes it leads to the survival of a video game. Knights of the Old Republic is another MMO that went free to play and is very, very successful because of it. Everyone wants to emulate WoW, where or World of Warcraft, where you buy a $20 game, $40 game, $60 game, and then pay $15 a month, with no free. There's trial accounts, but no free accounts. And yeah, Blizzard may be making a lot of money, but they're the odd one out. So for EVE Online to do this makes complete sense. If you haven't played it, go give it a try. Again, it costs about $10 a month for a subscription if you do feel you want a leg up against all the other newbies, or if you just want to, compete with everyone else out there. $10 a month, or again, fresh out of the box, free to play. Definitely worth checking out. It's an oldie but a goodie. There's so few good space multiplayers out there, and Eve Online has been around for so long. You know that they're well established. It's not some fly by night cheesy Korean grind fest. It's gonna have substance to it, especially for a free player. Check it out. Uh, Okay, so we went from video games. Let us move on over to, All right, entertainment to entertainment. That'll be our bridge for today, or at least for this story. And we're gonna get started with this. We'll have to continue it on the other side of the break, but it's a pretty cool story in that Netflix is. We're seeing that their model is probably the best model that we've seen to date. Very, very popular. So CBS All Access commercial free option costs about $4 more a month. So the network streaming service will cost you $10 a month if you want to nix the interruptions. And hey, we've seen that most of the Netflix subscribers out there, and again, I kind of refer to Netflix a lot because they are the industry leader. So yeah, that's kind of an easy comparison to make. But we've seen that one of the big draws to Netflix, one of the things that keeps it popular, is the absolute lack of in between commercial advertising. Advertising in Netflix is kept to a real minimum, and that really resonates with people. And this coming from Engadget, Mr. Billy Steele. And once again, CBS All Access commercial free option costs $4 more a month, where CBS announced that its All Access streaming service was making the leap to Xbox One. And now the network has another subscription option. If you like watching the likes of Madame Secretary, Blue Bloods, and more without interruption of commercial, you can pay more to get rid of them. CBS now offers a $10 monthly subscription that will allow you to stream all of that on-demand content commercial free. Hallelujah. That's $4 more a month than the regular option that has been available for about 2 years. Definitely worth checking out. Again, we will continue this on the other side because they do have quite a few stories and quite a few shows, and we'll tell you which platforms to get them on because, hey, it is another competitor. But we'll do it on the other side of the break. Stay tuned.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons: accidental reformatting, power spikes, virus attacks. Zero Assumption Recovery provides a suite of highly effective and thorough data recovery software for Windows operating systems. ZA is suitable for home users and small businesses who need a powerful data recovery solution for Windows and Linux file systems.
Go to z-a-recovery.com.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no kill helps keep family pets healthy happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Oh, my. He thinks he's superior to those other narcissists. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Carrio Control NG100 Firewall. We love hardware firewalls for their full-time protection. And the new Carrio Control, K-E-R-I-O, the Carrio Control NG100 Desktop Firewall is a surprising amount of power, like with an Intel dual-core CPU, plus versatility, all in a package as small as a stack of 3 CD cases. It can split an incoming WAN connection into 2 separate networks at LAN 1 and LAN 2, and a USB port lets you store and recover configurations. So bottom line, when you need hardware level protection plus versatility, a Carrio Control NG100 Desktop Firewall is an inspired choice. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And welcome back to the Computer America Show. It is 33 minutes past the hour as we continue on here doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Yeah, it's a little backwards, but I think you guys will make it because in the second hour, we have Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's Maddest Writer. That's a great title. And the GizWiz, where he finds all these great gadgets where you can find over at GizWiz.biz. There's even a small section there for things that we specifically talk about here on Computer America, and that is over on the right under non-paid lackey fun with Computer America. Check that out in the second hour. So we continue on here, and we just finished up a story, or at least we were just finishing up a story about CBS All Access is going commercial free for another $4. If you were wondering how much it costs to bombard you with ads, and the answer, about $4 a month. While paying monthly for a single over-the-air network show may not be too enticing, there are a couple of originals that might get you to bite. The upcoming Star Trek Discovery series will only be available on All Access, along with an unnamed The Good Wife spinoff. However, both of those shows won't debut until next year. In addition to Xbox One, the CBS Stream service is available through Android, iOS, Windows app, or in your living room via Roku, Apple TV, 360, Chromecast, Android, all of them. that is the short of it. It will be available through almost all of them. All the major players. But yeah, $10 a month. It probably won't have the content that you are looking for from it won't have Netflix level of content, and even people are complaining about how Netflix level content is actually shrinking, but it's going to have some originals, and if you're huge into CBS, you'll be able to get a lot of your shows that you like from CBS a la carte, and you'll be able to get a lot of originals ad-free, which is awesome. I think almost all of the streaming services should go ad-free. Hulu actually just stopped their free model where you could sign in and sign up for Hulu and watch it absolutely free, but you had to watch a ton of ads. They got rid of that, and now it is a strictly $10 a month service, very akin to what we're talking about here with CBS All Access and akin to Netflix. It's just the way that the industry seems to be going. I, for one, will not be fighting it. All right. So with that said, we have so many other cool stories, and let's do this one. This one is a little stroke of justice, I guess, in something that I think a lot of us can say, oh yeah, no, that's a corrupt gig. And that corrupt gig isn't so much the police officer, but something that we've all seen and we all say, I don't like that. And that thing is a traffic camera, a red light traffic camera. They are dreaded. They get it wrong a lot of the time. And when you drive by thinking that you're doing the right thing and it flashes behind you, you know, I'm in for a headache because I've gotten false positives on these things. Not fun to get dismissed. But this is an article from Ars Technica. And yeah, Chicago officials get 10 years for role in dirty red light camera deal. 10 years for a red light camera. And John Bills will also have to pay about $2 million in restitution. $2 million in 10 years for a red light camera. Not good. A former Chicago transportation official has been sentenced to a decade in prison. He was found guilty on 20 counts of mail and wire fraud, bribery, extortion, and a litany of other charges stemming from a corrupt contract involving Redflex, a major red light camera company during red light camera company during the Monday hearing. U.S. Judge U.S. District Judge Virginia M. Kendall also ordered John Bills to pay over $2 million in restitution. According to the Chicago Tribune, Bill's voice broke with emotion as he acknowledged ethical and moral mistakes, but he denied masterminding the massive bribery scheme in exchange for growing the city's controversial network of red light cameras into the largest nation. As ours has reported previously, Bills was the managing deputy commissioner at the Department of Transportation, and he helped steer a lucrative city contract to Redflex. After Bills urged his colleagues to approve the deal, the city hired the embattled Australian firm to provide the automated enforcement cameras, and known formally as again digital automated red light enforcement program, or DARLEP, for about a decade. That contract abruptly ended after Bills was shown to have accepted a hotel room that read for, and and of course the corruption ran far deeper. In October 2013, Chicago selected Xerox ACS to replace Redflex as its new red light camera operator, and since then, Redflex has suffered financially, dubbing North America as a low, no-growth market. Yeah, that kind of happens when you tend to scam people. They don't tend to like to do business with you, and I can see how that could be a low, no-growth market. The May 2014 criminal indictment explained that Redflex hired Bill's friend Martin O'Malley, who was paid more than $2 million for his services as a contractor, effectively making him one of the company's highest paid workers. Much of that money was then funneled to Bills, who used it for personal gain, and via Redflex employees, Bills also acquired a new car and even a condominium in Arizona. Talk about perks of the job. Of course, seedy perks because you are cheating taxpayers out of money, but it is what it is. O'Malley is scheduled to be sentenced by Judge Kendall on September 12th, and Finley is scheduled to be sentenced also by Judge Kendall on November 10th. In December 2013, ours reported on it about the 4 cameras in the central California town of Modesto. And I got to be honest, red light cameras, not just because I get caught by them sometimes, but also because, let's face it, they really don't stop traffic violations. If anything, they have so many false positives. They're strictly a moneymaker, or at least it seems like they're strictly a moneymaker for whichever municipality seems to be putting them up. Not a good look at all. And I am just such not a fan of red light cameras. So it's good to see that they were taken down, and it's good to see that corrupt people in position to be corrupted have been put away for years because of something as small as a red light camera. I say as small, but it was millions of dollars. It couldn't have been that small. Don't cheat people out of money, because it's very hard to get away with it nowadays with all the technology that we talk about here on the show all the flipping time. Uh, okay, a little something, more lighthearted. And if a lot of you remember, Google used a series of sheep to get something called Sheep View for a remote island, uh, and I believe it was off the coast of Scotland. I think it was something called Faroe Island. So this story is again from Gadget, Mr. Steve Dent, and Google expands Sheep View project with tracker cameras. And humans with camera equipped backpacks, kayaks, and wheelbarrows are joining the Faroe Island herd. And without the presence of Google, Faroe Island residents had to rely on camera equipped sheep to provide 360-degree sheep view images of the bucolic island. While that's adorable, digital tourists probably want to see more than just areas with the most delicious grass. Luckily, Google heard about their plight and decided to give the burdened quadrupeds a hand with its Street View camera loan program. The search giant flew in Trekker and 360 cameras, had an employee helped residents install them on trucks, bikes, backpacks, kayaks, and horses, and even wheelbarrows, according to Google's blog post. The Faroe Island Tourism Office is even willing to lend cameras to visitors who want to make their own contribution. Sure, of course, it's a good PR trick to draw tourists, but the scenery is pretty spectacular, and it'd be nice to have a smoother video than, and this is again according to the author, quote unquote, that don't make us sheep sick. Sheep sick. Because if you've seen these videos, sheep don't have the most sauntering kind of gait. It does bounce up and down quite a bit, and it is rather annoying. It is what it is. It's nice to see that Google though is trying to expand its ever vigilant eye for the entire world and providing these cameras so that you may get views that are similar that we experience here. Yeah, again, I'm going to say here as in the US, but really in a lot of metropolitan areas, or even you'd be surprised just how far these Google Street Views have actually become. They're very, very accurate, and they update all the time. And to expect that on even a place as remote as Faroe Island is very, very cool. And it's good to hear that the locals are willing to help out to get people to, come on over and see what all the hubbub is about, and not just through and not just with cameras that are 20% sheep fur, sheep wool. There we go, wool. All right. All right, so Google doing good stuff, as luckily as usual. Google does a lot of really, really nice things, and 40. Okay, I take a little bit of the blame for this, but 45 minutes into the show, let's get to the big story of the day. Dropbox hacker stole 70 million logins in 2012. Yeah, sorry that took so long. I got caught up with more interesting stories, like potentially replacing sheep with wheelbarrows. That did catch my eye, but so did this one. Do not worry, folks. And one thing that I think a lot of news agencies today won't tell you was that this breach actually happened back in 2012. They do a very good job of just saying, hey, 70 million logins were stolen, but they want to make it seem urgent. So they don't say, but it was 4 years ago. They conveniently leave that part out. But again, it comes from Gadget and Mariella Moon. And back in 2012, Dropbox admitted someone hacked into the cloud storage service and stole login details, but it didn't reveal the extent of the breach. Well, apparently, it was a huge one. Motherboard has obtained a number of files containing 60 million usernames and password combinations that came from that incident. A senior Dropbox employee who chose to remain anonymous confirmed the file's contents to the publication. Microsoft employee Troy Hunt verified the details by finding his and his wife's logins in the mix as well. That's a very good, that's a very good indication that these are legitimate by looking for your own login credentials and saying, yeah, if I'm on there and those are accurate, then this is a pretty bad one. Since Dropbox sent out password resets last week to users who signed up before 2012 and haven't changed their login details since, it's not hard to believe that the files are legit. The company mentioned in the Help Center entry about the resets that it doesn't believe any of the accounts were improperly accessed. While there's no way to prove that, Motherboard and Hunt's findings support that claim. And this is just one thing that we talk about all the time when it comes to good account security practices, and that is just be vigilant and change your passwords every 6 months to a year. The more you can change it, admittedly, there's a point where when you change it every week or every 2 weeks, you're being a little hyper paranoid, and there's a higher chance that you're just going to forget it, which of course leads you to do password recovery and making and just being, like, kind of burning yourself out. And if you burn yourself out, you're more likely to recycle and reuse uh, passwords. And don't do that. Make unique passwords, but change them infrequently, but still frequently, at least once every 4 years. Good on Dropbox for sending those out. All of the passwords on the list are salted and encrypted, though only 32 million are protected by a strong algorithm called bcrypt. The other half of the users, the other half uses an older, weaker algorithm called SHA-1 and doesn't look like the files are being sold on the dark web yet. But to be safe, it's best that you change your Dropbox password and activate two-factor authentication when you can. Another good thing to remember about this is that if you know that you used a login credential, let's say a username and then a password, that you repeat, recycle, reuse all over the place, even though this was strictly for Dropbox, let's say the username and password are still your combination for I don't know, iTunes or Spotify or your Gmail account, any of these. If you recycle just like that, it's good to change those as well to something different than what was on Dropbox in 2012, because that's the first thing that hackers do whenever they buy a list like this. They go out, they use programs to actively search other services, other popular services with similar names and password requirements, and they will get access to much more than just Dropbox. Whenever a big hack this was a problem that iTunes had quite a while ago when they weren't using two-factor authentication. They were simply using they were just simply using a password and a username. That's how a lot of these celebrities that we talked about were hacked, where somehow their username and password were hacked from Twitter, from YouTube, or something benign like that, and then it was applied to iTunes, where you can steal, where you can spend money because a lot of people link accounts, where you can steal much more. So if you know that you used Dropbox before 2012, or at least during 2012, then of course change your Dropbox if you're still using it, and change anything else that may have similar credentials to Dropbox itself. And it's a tall order, but if you want to keep yourself safe online, something you kind of have to do every once in a while. And you should have been doing it anyways. Best advice I can give you, and I hope all of you follow it, because the last thing I want is for you guys to lose data or have data stolen, deleted, edited. It's not a fun place to be. All right, so we're going from that one, and we're going to hop on over to a publication called Motherboard. They are a sub-publication of a company called Vice. And I chose this one. It was in quite a few other places, but the implications, I think, are really neat, because it seems like we're finding new dates every couple months, and this is more science than it is technology. But hey, I found it cool, and Craig's not here to stop me. So the oldest fossils ever found date back about 3.7 billion years. Yes, that far, 3.7 billion years. That's crazy old. Where the oldest fossils in the entire record have been found in Greenland's Isua Greenstone Belt, according to new research published Wednesday in the Journal of Nature. These fossils advance our understanding of how and when life formed on the planet and its role in playing and shaping the planet's biosphere. Forged by cyanobacteria some 3.7 billion years ago, these layered sedimentary formations push the timeline of the confirmed life on Earth back by a full 220 million years, where the previous record holder was 3.5 billion in Western Australia, has now been unseated by a wide temporal margin. The newest and oldest, which again were found embedded in rock in Greenland, are incredibly subtle. These structures consist of conical shaped waves of sediment deposited by ancient microbes for protection and shelter in shallow water environments. It doesn't sound very exciting, but at the same time, you got to figure that happened 3.7 billion years ago. I can't even imagine the world. I can't remember what the world was like 15 years ago, let alone orders of magnitude older than that. Even the authors of the study, led by a geologist, admit that there's a chance that they might have been created by non-biological processes, but there are a few telltale hints, including the shape of the chemical distribution of these structures, that likely rule out non-life. Providing that the assumption is vindicated, the stromatolites, I believe as they're called, present the most distant glimpse into the origins of life on Earth in human history. And of course, the oldest glimpse of life, that means our very, very, very distant ancestors. So the discovery gives a snapshot of a single environment in which life existed in that time. We can now say that life populated shallow water settings, but we have no idea of how diverse these habitats were. Just to skip forward a little bit here, saying it's interesting that the most extreme window to date into life's origins was catalyzed by the shifting landscapes of an era way gone. It's of course, to put it into Jurassic Park terms, life finds a way even in the Earth's rocky infancy nearly 4 billion years ago. Something made it. 4 billion years ago, the Earth was formed, and 3.7 billion years ago, life was already on it. That didn't take long, and it's I don't know what to think of it, but at the same time, I think it's just super super cool that it only takes a couple 100 million years for life to even start, and then of course later, out comes Ben, who is doing a radio show and talking about it. But 3.7 billion years ago. Thought you all would like to hear about that. Very, very cool. We have time for like one half of a story. So we're going to start a story, and then all of you have to finish for homework. Your reports are due on my desk Monday, and I do count penmanship. So type your answers if you don't want points off. The last story I think we're going to do, we haven't covered much tech stuff, so let's just do this tech thing here real quick. This is from Gadget, and again, Mariella Moon. Corning, they make awesome touchscreen glass, and again, best known for and they're best known for Gorilla Glass, which of course is in a lot of smart devices. And Corning's latest Gorilla Glass will make wearables tougher. About time, because it's based on a new type of glass called Project Fire. Corning Gorilla Glass director Scott Forrester said in a statement, quote, "In early 2015, Corning launched Project Fire with the goal of engineering glass-based solutions with the scratch resistance approaching luxury cover materials, combined with the superior damage resistance of Gorilla Glass. Corning Gorilla Glass delivers a superior combination of properties that is not available in any other material today. It is a class of its own." I wonder if the Corning Gorilla Glass director Scott Forrester has any bias in saying that there is no other material today that is even close to it. No. I'm sure he's completely independent and has all confidence in saying that. But Based on Corning's lab tests, the Scratch Resistant Plus is 70% more resistant to impacts than the luxury cover materials, smartwatches, and other wearables used today. Further, the company says that it's better overall optical performance and outdoor readability that ultimately contribute to a longer battery life. That, that's interesting. It's interesting that a better battery life can come from the type of glass that you use. Corning didn't list out which manufacturers plan to use the SR Plus for their wearables, but the variant is apparently expected to debut in devices that, quote, leading global brands, end quote, will launch later this year. We'll just have to wait and see if it's truly as good as the glass maker claims. And glass is one of those things that the more you don't pay attention to it, or the more that you don't have to pay attention to it, the more it's just kind of part of your device. I think the more people like it. The more responsive the touch gestures are, the less likely it is to get scratched, the less smudgier it gets just through normal use. The more people are like, the less people notice it, the more people like it. And I don't know about you folks out there, but personally, I think Gorilla Glass, because I have an iPhone, but I've seen other smartphones out there. Glass has gotten to a point where it's almost unnoticeable. Don't get me wrong, it's very noticeable that you're touching a glass device, but to the point where they don't scratch anymore and they don't really smudge all that often, and they're just really, really good pieces of technology. So I don't know how much I'm going to notice a 70% better resistance to impact and things like that. But if nothing else, if it leads to tougher wearables and tougher phones, because I have an iPhone that I dropped the other week and shattered the screen. I don't like the fact that I can do that. So if Project Fire can solve that problem, hey, more power to Gorilla Glass. And after talking about that story, I have good news and bad news. Bad news. Stories are over. Story time is done. We will be doing computer technology news sometime a little bit, probably tomorrow. But although we are working on guests, and we might actually have 2 guests tomorrow, so we will let you guys know about that. Just check out computeramerica.com. But in the second hour, yes, the whole first hour is gone already. And in the second hour, we have our good friend Dick DeBartolo, GizWiz and Mad Magazine's maddest writer. He's going to be here all second hour as we talk about all gadgets and gizmos and just cool things that he finds all over the place. Although I will admit, I noticed that a lot of it is available through Amazon. So, very, very cool stuff. And of course, easily obtainable stuff, like stuff that you get your hands on, not just, weird stuff. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We're going to have a full hour with him. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, check out computeramerica.com. Feel free to send us a message and we'll get to it. And just in general, sit back and have fun. We're going to have a good second hour here. Stay tuned.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at computeramerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
As Rocky said, thank you for joining us once again. It is hour 2 of the Computer America Show, which again is the longest running nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Hour 1 is behind us, and hopefully you all had a good time with it. And now in our second hour, we are switching gears to a guest. I know, usually it's the other way around. Guest first hour, but Dick enjoys the second hour, and we are more than happy to be accommodating for that. And so I hope all of you, big round of applause for the GizWiz himself, Dick DeBartolo. So, Dick, are you there? Welcome.
I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly.
Okay, I'm not getting any video from you. Wait a minute. I have my own applause here. Hang on. Dick DeBartolo. All right.
That device has stayed around on your desk longer than I thought it would have.
Yeah.
do you find it come in handy? You know, just
I do. You know, I also do the GizWiz, and I do the thing with Leo. And every once in a while, I just need applause.
Absolutely. And since so very few places do live studio audiences anymore, good to have it in your pocket. Definitely.
Exactly.
Definitely. So
But-
yeah, Dick, I don't know if you had a chance to to listen, but or I'm sorry, to read the email I sent. But for those of you who are just joining us for the second hour, Craig Crossman is unfortunately out sick. It's the first time it's happened in years and years and years. So I'm doing my best to not drown, I guess would be the best phrase. Uh, but yeah, he'll be back soon enough. And so, Dick, again, it's just going to be me and you for the hour.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I know that you've been slowly poisoning him, and so I'm happy that it worked out fine for you.
Yeah, yeah. Again, his legs are fine. No need to investigate that issue. And the takeover is going well, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
in the short term. So yeah, again, it's been about a month. How have you been? Everything with you?
I've been very good. And for the first time ever, when I signed into Google, it remembered to use the proper microphone.
It was bound to happen eventually.
Yes, yes. And now you're not sending out video today, right?
I am not sending out video. Unfortunately, I'm not in my usual location. So video will be back for everyone in about a week or two. So
Okay, very good.
yeah. No. Nothing is wrong on your end. That is normal.
okay.
That is normal. All right. So okay. So introductions are out of the way. And again, if you want to follow along with what we're doing, normally we do have the video portion, and it lets us kind of see the videos that he has up, or the articles that that he's written. He puts them all in a very convenient place to find them. Do not worry. But yeah, head on over to GizWiz.biz, and over on the right you will see a red banner called the non-paid Lackey Fund on Computer America, and under that section is everything we will be talking about today with Mr. DeBartolo. And there are so many. He always finds such great things. And I think we're gonna kick off this first one. If you don't mind the awkward segue into I'll be honest, something a little bit more. I don't want to say high tech, but last couple times you're on, you do like tools and cooking hardware, toys from toy conventions, and this time it's a full blown computer.
Yes, it's a Chromebook, and I did back to school for ABC, and I do a little bit of research as to what people are taking back to school, and I was kind of amazed to read that more than 50% of the electronics market for schools are Chromebooks.
Yeah.
So Chromebooks are wildly popular in schools, and it also said a third of the market share for Chromebooks is Acer. And I know some people over there, and I said, "Well, you guys doing anything new for your fall release of Chromebooks?" And they said, "We're coming out with our first aluminum Chromebook." And what's amazing about Chromebooks, so they're not full blown computers. So if you're playing video games or you're editing video, this is not for you.
Right. And just to get into the nitty gritty real quick, what would you say the main difference between a laptop and a Chromebook would be?
Uh, well, first of all, the difference is getting narrow. It used to be that with a Chromebook, unless you were in a Wi-Fi area, you were pretty much dead. But
Mm-hmm.
now Chromebooks are letting you download a lot of stuff so you can use it offline. So the big thing is there's not a ton of memory on it because it uses the cloud to
Right.
mainly to store stuff. And second of all, Leo Laporte is forever telling his guests on the show, if you're just surfing the web, just doing some texting, watching some videos, you can get by with a Chromebook. And what is astounding about Chromebooks is the cost. So this new one from Acer, and I'm just going to look up the name here. It's the 14-inch IPS HD screen Acer.
I think here in the article here, you just have it listed as Chromebook 14.
Chromebook 14, exactly. They make two models. They make an IPS model, which is a higher definition screen, but it's $300, and the lesser definition screen is 280. So if you're buying it, I would just go for the higher resolution
Yeah.
for the extra $20. So it has a built-in webcam, built-in speakers, built-in microphone, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, USB 3.0. I had never ever used a Chromebook. The first thing I did was went to YouTube. I was going to say, so are these? Am I going to have jerky movies? Absolutely no problem whatsoever. And for ABC, I thought I'm just going to download the last spot I did. So, and also I love it that when you open the cover, in about 7 to 9 seconds, you're up and running. So I figured I'm just going to download the last spot I did on World News Now. And when the host opens the computer, the Chromebook up, it's going to start playing. And it looks great. The sound is excellent. And I can see why they have such a big share of the marketplace. And of course, nowadays you can add uh, memory so easily. Just in case I needed it, I bought one of the new Kingston 64 gigabyte little Duo 3.0.
Right.
So it's 64 gigabytes and it was $19 on Amazon. Built into the machine is 32 gigabytes of memory, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and so far the only thing I is 2 or 4 gigabytes offered that always go for the 4 gigabytes. You're talking about very little money, and 4 gigabytes will let a Chromebook pretty much do everything that it needs to do. And also 10 to 12 hours of battery life. It weighs
Very efficient. Yeah.
yes, it weighs a little more than 3 pounds, and you always know what the stagehand's reaction when you come over. When the stagehands come around and pass it around and then ask each other, "What do you think this cost?" And then they go, "I don't know, 500." And then they love to say, "No, it's under 300." And they go, "What?" So I can see where the Chromebook market has really taken off. And and on my website there is a link to a very big article from Google from with all the differences between a Chromebook and a laptop. But as I said, those differences are getting less and less.
Right. Yeah. And of course one of
Do
the
you use Chromebook?
I have not, but we've covered them extensively on the show, so
Oh,
I feel
yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I feel very confident in talking about things I don't know about, and that's one of the other things is that it's a whole new operating system, but it's not like oh no, I have to learn Linux. No, it's very like if you've used any kind of modern operating system, and especially if you're already familiar with like Google Drive and you mentioned YouTube, like any of the Google services, they're very baked into the operating system. So
Exactly. Basically, you will most likely be using Google Docs as your word
right.
processor. And yeah, there's a slight learning curve. Like maybe I spent half an hour going, well, where did they put this? Where did they put that? But then once you find it, it's very easy. And I love the fact when you're done, you just shut the cover, and then when you open it, it's there again. That to me was a really neat feature of this.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about the like some of the drawbacks you would consider, maybe the smaller memory, and the fact that you can't have, let's say, Microsoft Word downloaded onto your computer and using that. Some of the negatives are actually positives, because then and this is why, again, I assume you included it in the back to school segment, the idea that I don't know where I saved the folder, or I left my homework assignment on my home computer, or what have you. Now that's in the cloud, and of course Google Docs is a cloud-based application. Going into class and saying I forgot my paper becomes a lot harder to do when you can access your homework or your assignments from any computer.
Yes. No, I absolutely love that. Even before Chromebook, I've been using Dropbox,
Definitely.
and it's great. I'll go to Mad, and they'll say, you made the changes. Do you have the original before you made the changes? Because I think we took out something that I think I'd like to put back. And I just go to Dropbox and old copies of it, the old revisions,
Exactly.
and there, and also every once in a while something will happen at ABC where they'll say, we have to reboot the whole. ABC is doing a lot of robotic now, and
Yeah.
sometimes when they go out of sync, there's a whole rebooting thing, and it could take a half hour or something. And I love the fact that my Squarespace website is in the cloud,
Hmm.
so I can start building my website with the stuff that at ABC said, "Oh, we'll definitely show that." So instead of wasting time, I'm just working on my computer as if I was home. So this whole
Exactly.
cloud-based thing is just wonderful for all around.
Right, and Chromebooks definitely embrace that. Now we've talked about Chromebooks, for honestly, it seems like I think they were introduced in like 2012 or something like that, and every single year they're always like the number one back to school accessory. What's and again we're talking about the Acer's aluminum case Chromebook.
Yes.
Some of the older Chromebooks they were plastic or they were some other flimsier material, and they were cheaper than 300. I recall some being as cheap as like 180. But
Yes. I think Lenovo introduced one at about 130. I mean, it was plastic,
yeah,
but it's astounding. It's
yeah,
astounding if you care for it carefully. You can get into a Chromebook for very little money.
right. And my question about the Acer Chromebook one was, how does the aluminum case feel? Because some people may have already kind of invested in maybe not aluminum Chromebooks. Is it nice feel for a
Yes,
a laptop?
it not only feels good, but it looks great. It looks. I also I use an S7. I don't know if you're familiar with the Acer S7.
Yeah,
It's they're super thin. It looks like another version of the S7. It just looks really techy, and I don't think a lot of people would even realize that it's a Chromebook because I'm not sure if a lot of people are doing Chromebooks only because, as you say, that they've tried to make them very low price,
yeah.
and but now to be able to do an all aluminum body and still keep it under $300 is another breakthrough.
And I know that as we've seen from you from past products, you go out and do your absolute best to find the best deals for this. 299 seems to be pretty standard, or
299 is very standard. As a matter of fact, I do believe it has a different model number at a higher price, but I believe that the specs are the same, so you don't want to pay more than 299. And I believe at one time, and I think it was just a couple of day deal. I think Best Buy had a back to school special, and I think
yeah,
they had $20 off on it. Um,
yeah. The,
you
the the back to school specials usually stop when everyone's already back to school. So
Yes, exactly,
probably miss
exactly.
out on it. But yeah, 300 bucks, and again for for a laptop,
It,
and yeah, just like you said, Leo mentions all the time, if you find yourself not editing music videos, then you could probably get by with a Chromebook. It's a completely uh you know good piece of technology. So
exactly, exactly.
awesome stuff. And if you're going to need a bag to put it in, I see you included that in the very next one.
I did. Now these are for the very young, and this was from a really fun event called Sweet Sweet Blogger Bash. It's a combination of toy companies meeting bloggers, and they had it on a ship that was. It did not sail, but it was a ship docked in the Hudson River, and they had tons of toy companies there. But I was especially interested in this company called Bixby, Bixbee, because of they did some very innovative backpacks. All of their backpacks are great animals and takes on animals, which I like. But being an LED freak, I love they have two LED bags. One of them is the guy. It's the rocket flyer backpack.
Kind of Buzz Lightyear esque.
Yes, exactly. Buzz Lightyear's type,
Yeah.
and it has flashing LEDs. You can make them flash slow or steady. You can make them be steady or slow, fast. And then there's the girls' version, which is the fairy wings, which also are LEDs, and they're $44. But what I liked is I met the CEO of the company, Louis Manuel, who said that what they do is for every backpack they sell, they donate a school bag of supplies to a needy child.
That's nice.
And they partner with other companies that might produce pencils or erasers or other school supplies to help fill the bags. So that was another reason I thought this is a great idea. First of all, I thought the backpacks were very unique and that kids would like them. And if you don't like LEDs, they have a ton of non-lit backpacks. They run down in the, I think, $28, $29 range. And then I like the fact that every one is, uh, I think it's called like buy one, give one, something like that. It's a very nice program to think of kids going back to school who are needy.
Definitely. Like I have this use case in my head, but then the more I think about it, the less plausible it is that LEDs on a backpack, good stuff. Because if your kid is ever walking home from school at 9 o'clock at night, less chances to be hit by a car. But
Absolutely,
the more I
especially
thought about it, yeah,
I was going to say that as the closer we get into winter, the shorter the
okay,
daylight
there we go.
is, and these backpacks are great for that.
Right, yeah. I was just having a hard time coming up with a situation where a young kid would be walking alone in the dark with his backpack. But right, no, and and of course, boys and girls, and I checked out some of their other ones. Of course, you stuck to the LED ones, but they do have other animals and things like that. Um, purchase exclusively through their website, available through Walmart. Did they say where they're hoping to head with these things?
They have their own website, and I believe they just have a store on Amazon.
Okay, so yeah, and I think people are comfortable finding products on Amazon nowadays. It's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, I never ever I buy a ton of stuff on Amazon. Several links on my website are called affiliate links, where if you buy the item, it's exactly the same price as everybody else pays, and you get a small credit. I have
Right.
never spent more. I usually spend 8 to 10 to 15 times the amount of money that my credit equals. So I'm certainly not making any money from this, but it's a help. But the thing is, I had never ever returned anything to Amazon, and I bought this light thing that was three lights, and they dropped down at three different angles, and
Hmm.
I thought it might look good in the studio, and it was just sometimes it would turn on, sometimes it wouldn't. Have you ever returned anything to Amazon?
Anything to Amazon? Yes, but it had to have like like a crack case and like the only thing that I wish I did was like my mom tried to buy some exercise equipment and like this is gonna get not a little racist, but not a lot of racist. But anyways, like I don't know if you ever seen like the exercise equipment that it's Asian people, but they're photoshopped to the point where you think, yeah, they could be white. Anyways, they're exercise equipment meant for Chinese, for Chinese people. And I'm not the biggest person, 5'9", but I tried to get on this thing, and it was obviously made for someone who was probably closer to 5 foot to 5 foot
Oh,
four.
I
I
see.
I snapped this thing. It just was crap because it was just so small and so poorly made. I had to return it, and they're very good about it.
Yeah, I had never done it, and this thing, it's just, and so I figured, well, you know what, it's $30. I don't want to throw $30 away because this thing really just doesn't work, and go in and just go why, and you just go it doesn't work, and you type a label, and it says, did you want to drop it off at an Amazon drop off place? And I said yes, and it said, well, there's one in this supermarket, and that the supermarket is open 24 hours a day. Actually, my partner was going by there, and he said, "Do I do anything special?" I said, "No, it just says drop it off."
Yeah.
So he goes in and he scans it, and a door opens electronically. And he said, "Dick, I didn't know what to do. The box didn't fit in there." And he said, I looked down at the console, and the console is saying, "Is this door too small?" And he hit yes, and that door closed, and a bigger door opened, and he just threw it
And
in.
then a head
And,
popped out and said, "You're
and
not going to see the wizard. There's no way, no how." And I guess.
And then about a week later, I just got an email saying your account's been credited, and
Yeah.
so I thought, well, it's a easy return. I like that.
Yeah, no, they definitely wouldn't do as much business and wouldn't be our next overlords if they didn't conquer the return packaging. So, and again, it's kind of one of the reasons that I feel safe. Talking about Amazon so much is that it's so easy to buy things and they make it really easy to ship it to you, relatively cheaply, and it's really easy to return them if you don't like it. Like they're very good about that.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely. And also, I like Amazon reviews, especially if the reviews are
they're
in
hilarious.
the 50 to the 100 people. Oh, some of the reviews are, yes.
Yeah.
Some of the reviews are very funny. And I usually don't trust a review if it's just 15 people and it's all 5 stars. I figure someone
Oh
who
yeah.
works there has 15 of his friends. But if I see something that has 150 reviews and has 4.5 stars, and especially when you read some of the reviews, you know that the people writing, they're not saying this is very pretty and it looks pretty and I like it because it's pretty. You have people saying battery life on this is so and so, and I had this the X9, and the battery power is here, and they use heavy duty condensers. So the people that are reviewing it, you trust them because they are talking more techie than someone just saying it looks pretty.
Right. There's definitely an art form to spotting paid reviews and fake
Yes.
reviews. Whenever like, two or three reviews use the same grammatical errors, you're like, yeah, okay. But Amazon's also getting good at, weeding those out as well. So yeah, no,
Yes.
definitely check out the reviews on those. And okay, so from backpacks to LEDs to yet another lighting utility, I guess would be the good segue for this one.
Yes.
Uh,
There was
hmm?
a an event in Salt Lake City called the Outdoor Retailer Show, and the guys at Night Eyes. Do you know the company Night Eyes?
I have
NIT.
never heard of them.
Okay, so Night Eyes, it's a bunch of guys who are really outdoors people, and they invent every kind of thing that can hang on your belt or your backpack. That they just come up with clever ideas for people who go camping or hiking. And the guy there, Rick, is the owner, and he said, "We got this great new rechargeable lantern. We're introducing it in Utah, but once it's introduced, I'll just send you one so you can see if you like it or not." So it's called the Night Eyes Radiant 300 rechargeable lantern, and it's 300 because the top output is 300 lumens, and it has a 2600 milliamp rechargeable battery. But what's nice about it is that that's a really big battery for a lantern.
Right.
So what
I
they
mean, like most smartphones, or at least I know my iPhone is about a 2600 milliamp, so it's about the same battery size as a smartphone, but of course, just for a light.
just for a light. But what they did was they also put a USB out port on the lantern. So if you're only going to be using a little power for the light, and your phone is going down, you can then plug your phone into the lantern and run your phone, actually charge the phone from the lantern itself.
And you said that
And
like the guys from Night Eyes are big outdoorsy guys, right?
yes,
Uh,
yes.
they don't find it counterintuitive that like maybe part of nature is getting away from technology, and here they are. Oh, no, I'm not gonna judge them. Yeah.
No, they I did something of theirs a while back that you might remember. It was called the doohickey, and it was very clever. It looks like a key, and could hang on your keychain, but it's actually a screwdriver, a bottle opener.
I'm
So
sure
they
if I saw it, I would remember it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I'm thinking this is so clever that it's just another key you carry, but you do have a little emergency screwdriver and you do have a little bottle opener. And it was like $5.
Right.
So, and this guy also has something that if you're driving or boating, you can have the lantern light up red. I know on boats, our boat has red lighting in the cabin, so that if you're doing
So you
night
don't ruin. So you
navigation.
don't ruin your night vision, right? Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And so if you touch the lamp, just push it in, it turns on white. But if you push the on button and it lights up red, the red has only one illumination range,
Hmm.
but the LED white you can have a low, medium, and high. You can recharge the battery, drop proof, just to like 3 feet. Comes with the micro USB cord. Oh, and then something that I thought was so clever is the carrying case
Yeah.
is can the carrying case can slide over the entire lantern and act as a diffuser.
So if you want to hang it in your tent or something, right?
Exactly. And you want to have a uniform
They
glow
really
around
thought
the
this one
entire.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very clever. Suggested retail is 44.99. It's not on Amazon yet. On their own website, it says out of stock. Mainly because it's just coming into the marketplace. But knowing the way marketing goes with them, I'm sure it'll be at a discount once it's in wide distribution. But if you're looking for it, it's called the Radiant 300 from Night Eyes.
Yeah, and again, you can really tell, when something is well thought out when it has little features like, like the redshift and, and all that good stuff. Uh, I guess this would be more targeted towards like, the weekend camper. If you, forgot your phone charger, hey, you have one built into your lamp.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Very, very cool. And again, I really want to drive folks to GizWiz.biz and check it out for yourself because the links are there. And unfortunately, I'm waving my hand and you can't see that because the video portion is down. So yeah, definitely go check that out over at Dick's website. And right underneath that one, there is the next one where we're gonna have to, I think, stall a little bit because we have commercials in about 50 seconds. So, but coming up is of course the three or four, depending on which part of the title you read, fun uses for LEDs, and there are so many fun uses for LEDs. Uh, and also another story about maybe even using LEDs on your fingertips. So we have
Yes.
those and many, many more gadgets that we're going to do over the course of the next half hour. Please stay with us. Check out again computeramerica.com and check out the video portion. Check out the video lounge and be sure to sign up on our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Google Plus, Pinterest, I don't know, other stuff out there, and you have a chance to win a prize from our friends over at Logitech. But please stick around. We have a whole lot more fun, and continue listening here on Computer America.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf's staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community based approach to no kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Sorry, gender-neutral connectors just can't be AC/DC. Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the Intermatic Dual-Tech Motion Sensor. It looks a little like a smoke alarm, but it really houses a PIR, that's passive infrared motion sensor, that can cover 1,600 square feet, plus an ultrasonic motion sensor that can cover 1,000 square feet, plus an ambient light sensor, and you have ways to adjust the sensitivity of all three. It's made for wiring into AC power and selectively powering a load like a light or a motor when either or both you choose of the motion sensor's triggers and when the ambient light level you set is appropriate. You can also set between 5 seconds and half an hour how long the load remains powered when it triggers. So bottom line, the Intermatic Dual-Tech Motion Sensor can bring automation to any room, battery-free. Marty Winston, News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
And thank you, Marty Winston, for that News Tip Bulletin review. You'll be hearing a new one of those next week as soon as I get them made. And so with that, we are going to continue on here with Dick DeBartolo, and he is the resident GizWiz, and we are, right in the middle of his list. And as far as LEDs go, I've seen them use I actually just saw a deal on, of course, and probably not relevant to what we're about to talk about, but I just saw it was like USB or HDMI LED strips that you put, up on a wall behind a television, and they're accent lights for LEDs. So whatever's on the screen, it will send a message to these LEDs, and it will light up the TV behind, it will light up the wall behind the TV. It'll light up, areas, in other places, corresponding to what's on television. People are finding uses for LEDs that I never even considered. So, lots of fun for LEDs, but you have here a couple fun uses for LEDs.
And dirt cheap. There was on the GizWiz a couple of years ago. My co-host Chad Johnson found a disco bulb at a Halloween store, and it was like $20. And the next day I went back the day after Halloween and was able to get one for $10. And then one of our viewers wrote in and said, "Oh, that's on Amazon for $4." and it's very unique because back when I had a 50-foot houseboat, I actually had a disco on my houseboat with mirrored balls and dancing waters, and we had fog machines and bubble machines. And in order to get a disco ball effect, you needed a rotating disco ball with a motor, and you needed a couple of spotlights to shine on the mirrored ball. Well, this little ball has a little mirrored surface inside, and within the ball, the motor spins around the 3 LEDs so that it actually fills the room with bouncing little lights. And and then a few weeks ago, I was searching on Amazon trying to find new stuff to show on the show, and I found the dual mirrored ball light, so that this has 2 of these things, one on each side, and that truly fills the entire room with lights bouncing off everywhere. And that one's a little more money, but it's $12. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars lighting my houseboat disco, and miles of wiring and switches. And I'm thinking, could have built if I was building my disco today, could make the houseboat look pretty much the way it did 10 years ago, and for thousands of dollars. I could probably do the same thing now for about $100.
You have
So
like you're having the same realization that anyone who spent thousands of dollars wiring their house up for whole home speakers, for anyone who did early home automation a decade ago. I mean, like the advancement of wireless communication with technology, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, insert Zigbee, whatever. Um, it just made everything so much cheaper and easier too.
absolutely, absolutely. And by the way, I did. I don't know if I did it on this show, but I'll point it out in case because there's one important point. Also on Amazon, they sell strings of 300 LEDs on a strip of plastic that is, I think it's 16 feet
Hmm.
long, and drawback to them. And if you search my website, you'll find it. You have to buy the expensive one. The inexpensive ones are $23, and the more expensive one. And this is when you think about 300 LEDs, $23 is like a ridiculously low price. Years ago, this, as we're talking about, this would have been $300. Uh, the $30 strip comes with a different remote control, and the difference is the cheap set, a lot of the codes are the exact same codes that your TV remote control uses. So you may put your lights up and have them the color you want, thing lit the way you want it, and then you go to change the channel and it shuts your lights off, changes your lights a different color. So there were so many people on Amazon, and again, I thank God I read all those reviews of people saying, I outlined my entire TV cabinet, all of the lights hidden, so the whole cabinet just glowed the way I liked it. On my TV, it shut the lights off, and I can't get around it. So if you're buying LEDs on Amazon and you want to light something that's going to be near where you're using a remote control, spend $30 for key remote control that is not affected by your TV remote controls. Anyway, just just a little aside
Good
there.
advice. Good advice.
And then the silliest thing I bought on Amazon, it was Prime Day. And I thought all day long, I thought, oh, I'm not going to be sucking into Prime Day. And then, when you get the email, there's just 1 hour left. I go, oh, I have to buy something on Prime Day. Let me see what's left. And I go through and I go, my gosh, light flashing LED gloves. Regularly $12, Prime Day $7.99. I thought, well, this is just something to make a video of because they're so silly. You know what? I've showed them, brought them up to Mad Magazine. I brought them over to ABC, and everybody says the same thing. Those are the stupidest things I ever saw. Where can I buy a pair? So
See,
everybody,
and I thought that was praise exclusive to the ostrich pillow, but I'm glad you found something else.
oh yes, no, and they have six different modes. You can have the fingers light up slowly. You can have red fingers if you want them. 12 bucks, and as I said, I paid $8. And I don't know, I'm just going to click this to see if this link is still live. Every once in a while, I'll show something on the air. And yes, so I don't click the link I have there that says $12. Click the link under it where a viewer found them for $8 and they're still $8.
Not bad. Not bad at
Yeah.
all. And I've seen videos of like they're huge with club kids. Like not surprisingly,
No,
the
absolutely. They could
yeah.
be great for a club. Absolutely great for a club. And also in the video, I said at rush hour, taxi cab. The guy standing there waving his hand in a pair of black gloves, or you standing there, patterns on both hands, is going to stop and pick you up and say, "What are you wearing? Where'd you get those?"
Oh, it's an eye catcher and a crowd pleaser.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly, exactly.
Definitely. And again, relatively cheap. So, very, very, you know,
Yes.
impulse buy. Let's face it. The thing that you buy when you're drunk on Amazon at 2 a.m. and you say, "What did I get myself last night?" And yeah, maybe that, maybe that.
Maybe
So
that. Yeah.
very, very cool. And again, moving to the next one, lighting seems to be the big theme here. And yeah, bringing the ocean to the bedroom. I guess water beds just weren't enough for folks. Now it's
No,
LED.
this is yeah, this is like the cheap way to do a waterbed. Under $20. It's very hokey, but it's surprisingly effective. So it looks like a miniature bowl with the LEDs pointing toward the ceiling, and there's a little motor in there, and the motor little lens that has little crinkly bumps in it back and forth over the LEDs, and it's designed so that it shines up onto your ceiling. Indeed, look like you're at the bottom of a swimming pool.
Hmm.
There's a little button that you can have just blue moving water, which is very effective. The green moving water is my favorite. Moving water, which doesn't look like anything that occurs in nature. And then you can hit a button that will slowly fade through in and out of the three colors. Runs on 4 AA batteries if you want, an AC adapter. And the AC adapter is a plug on a USB cord that also comes with it. So you can either run it from batteries, you can run it from a computer or any USB power it, or you can plug it into a wall, and it's $20.
I will say
So
that
it's
I
got its
think it
uses.
did its job because I checked out the video that you have up, and I got motion sick from watching the colors move.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The Ocean Wave projector.
Put it with we just had on the show the number one smartphone app uh for white noise, and it's just called like white noise on iTunes. And put it with some white noise, maybe some ocean sounds, maybe dolphins chirping, whatever dolphins do,
Yeah,
and ambiance.
you can. And actually, the little thing has a speaker in the bottom, but it's not Bluetooth or anything. It's a speaker built into the base of the Ocean projector, and it comes with a little double-sided audio cord so that you could use that app you're talking about and use the little cable that comes with it and go from the headphone jack on your phone to the input on the projector, and the sounds will come out of the base of the projector. It will sound a little better than your phone speaker.
Do it while you can because the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack is going
Maybe
away.
going, yes.
Mm. All the controversy that little hole causes, but yeah, okay. But no, very, very cool. And again, like you said, less than $20. Uh, make a good gift. I could imagine, maybe for a kid or something, and or I don't know. Cool find, good find, good stuff. All right, so going from that to a mini monitor, and I will say, right now I'm using one monitor. I usually use three monitors. Like that's my ideal setup until I can get a fourth monitor. But three monitors is like my ideal setup. And Dick, I'm sure you at least have to use two, but multi monitors are life changing.
Absolutely. I usually use three when I do the GizWiz or on with Leo, and I'm a big movie fan. I always have one channel is always on Turner Classic Movies, and but I like it to be a very small set, and I keep it desk. And the one I had finally gave up the ghost after years, and I'm talking about really little. So it was a little 7-inch monitor,
Hmm.
and back then, years ago, like the 7-inch monitor, I think it was $200. So go to Amazon and tons of 7-inch monitors, some as low as $30. But what I liked about the one I ended up with, strange name Sun Founder, is that it's a 7-inch monitor with a lot of inputs. It has two video inputs, HDMI input. It has VGA, a PC input.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have one of these little kangaroo $99 PCs. This is a great monitor for that. It comes with a bare bones remote control. It's just basically change the inputs and the volume. It comes with a little bass. Now there is one very stupid thing about it. You have to use the bass because for some bizarre reason the the cable that powers this comes directly out of the bottom of the frame. If this would have sat perfectly flat on my desk, but this cable, and people online are going, you think you can cut the cable? And other people are saying, there are 9 wires in there. You'd be suicidal to actually cut that cable.
Yeah.
So you have to use the little base so that the cable can come out. Oh, and also in this cable, wiring for DC also, for 12 volts. So you can also use this in your car. So it's really an all-purpose monitor. It's $59.99. But if you don't need it to do all these things, you don't need all those inputs, you can check the other models that go down to $30. This one, the fidelity was pretty good. It's um,
60,
It was
16 by 9, 10,
yeah,
24.
exactly. Yeah, 24 by 600. So
Right.
the video is pretty good. And again, $60, and also the 12-volt thing. If I ever need something down at the boat, comes with a little 12-volt wiring harness with a built-in fuse. I think it's a deal for $60. And you can look at the other monitors while you're there for even less money if you don't need all those features.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just hearing about your use case and hearing about, the way it's wired and things like that, it seems to be a more all-purpose kind of monitor where I can see this for, security applications where, you want a little security monitor wired directly into something.
A lot of people on Amazon are buying them for Raspberry Pi projects.
Right. That would be a good one. And,
Yep.
or even car dashboards. Like if you want to replace a car dashboard,
There
whatever
you
with,
go. And you could have there's inputs for both cameras, front and rear cameras.
yep, exactly. So yeah, it seems a little bit more all-purpose than a lot of speakers than a lot of monitors that we deal with all the time. So, Sunfounder 7-inch. I'm sure again, like you said, is available on Amazon.
It also has a little built-in speaker, which a lot of little monitors don't.
Right. Very, very cool. And and again, the price, that is the cheapest monitor. Of course, it's also the smallest monitor I've seen in a while, but it's also the cheapest one. So, price
Yeah.
is comparable. All right. So, this next one is a backpack that, we already talked about a backpack here today, but that one was just so cool. And this one looks like it could carry everything we've talked about so far on the show inside of it. Like the other one's for kids, this one seems a bit more professional. So, what is this?
Absolutely, and it's very it's very funny because I did it as my gadget of the week on Leo Laporte's Tech Guy radio show Saturday, and he said, "Wait a minute, this sounds very familiar. Do they make it in gray?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "Wait a minute, I just bought this. I love this backpack." It's called. It's from eBags, and it's called their TLS Professional Slim backpack. And it really is made for people who carry electronics. So at the base of it, they have something called the AC Garage. And that's a zippered pocket that opens, and it's hard sided inside so that all your cables can go in there. But whatever you put in the top of the bag won't go down and crush the cables because it is a hard sided little box in the bottom. they were talking about people wanting to carry backpacks into the office. So there's no water bottle sticking out. But if you want to carry a water bottle, there is a zippered pop out water bottle pocket. So
Huh.
when you're carrying water, you can have that. Then you open it up, a, a padded pocket for laptops up to 17 inches. Then there's a pad that there's another padded for your tablet. Then there's a section for your notes and your books or whatever else you have to carry. And then one of my favorite features is a vertical and horizontal pass through. And although looking at the bag, you can't imagine that it has such a thing. If you're taking this along with a piece of rolling luggage, you can slide or of your rolling bag through the
Oh.
center of this bag so that it is on your bag. You don't have to worry about trying to balance it and it's going to fall to one side or the other. It absolutely slides down. When I first saw the pass through, I slid it on my suitcase to try it out. And I said, oh, just a tiny bit of my handle sticks out the top. And I'm reading one of the reviews on Amazon and it says, thank goodness the bag can rotate to vertical because it doesn't quite fit my suitcase. And I go, oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me turn it this way. Now a lot of handle sticks out the top. It is really designed. And it's $110. And on Amazon, let me just see if the sale is still on. No, it's back to its normal price. Uh, but the thing is, go to ebags.com if you're interested, because I notice whenever you go to ebags, almost every time you go there, they'll say there's some sort of a sale of the day. One day it's let us be on our mailing list and immediately take 20% off anything,
Hmm.
or it's Friday, use this to take 20% off anything. So you could check Amazon, but first check ebags because it might be cheaper there on that particular day.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. I went there and they're like, steal of the day, find 70% off some items.
Did
I'm like,
they? Yeah. Okay. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah, they definitely have that. Although I'm seeing some of the bags and like they're we might have actually had e-bags on the show. I need to double check, but we had a carrying case one and like the leather messenger bags are for some reason, like I remember them. So we might have had them on the show, but definitely did not talk about the professional slim laptop backpack.
Yeah,
So
this just came out about a month ago. Maybe it was
right.
6 weeks ago.
Very
And yeah, Leo said he was very impressed with the build and that um, they find a niche and then they just build their own bag for it. So they thought that business people would like a backpack that didn't really have rings and things, a lot of crap hanging off it. Looked a little more respectable. So that's what they did.
definitely, definitely, and again, you mentioned all the pockets, and it's like a pocket for your laptop, for your tablet, for your garage opener, for your cell phone. I mean, like, yeah, obviously, it's for a professional on the go who wants everything in a place. So, very, very good to see. All right, so from backpack and now here's one. I'll admit looks a little bit low tech, but I'm willing to be pleasantly surprised. Real quick, because we have about 3 minutes.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
no, no.
oh,
We'll make this the final item.
sure.
Sometimes I'm watching something and the phone rings and I'm doing an interview and I just want to turn the volume down really quick. I hate having to go into a menu
For sure.
to get to volume control and I thought, does anybody just make a volume control stick in between an input and an output? And go to Amazon and someone does. So basically, I have a pair of Bose computer speakers. And so how easy it is to wire it. So out of the back of my computer comes audio out. One side of audio out goes into this volume control, and the other side goes to the Bose speakers. The Bose speakers you leave on as loud as you're going to normally play them. And then when the phone rings, I have a knob like you had on an old radio that just goes
Kind
up
of hard to
and
mess
down.
that one up.
Yes. And I tell you, I like it a lot because it takes one split second to turn the volume up or down. And it's $20. They make a bunch of them that go in line for headphones. So if you want to have if your headphones don't have a built-in inline volume control, you can add it, and those are only $10. But I actually, and they're little slider on the
Right.
side. I actually like the thing that is a knob with a big white indicator where the knob is pointing. So
Yeah,
that
just like you said, dealing with everything that we do here with Computer America, I wish more things to be that straightforward because sometimes it's, check this setting in the application, this setting on your desktop, this setting here, and and then at the end of the day, it's just the mute button on the cord on the headsets. So sometimes you just need that very simple and straightforward answer to it.
yes. And sometimes I click on the volume control with my mouse, and it takes like 10 seconds for the volume
Right.
control to open. And by then I'm annoyed. Oh, I'm not annoyed anymore.
Perfect.
At least on my one monitor where I hook this volume control up.
And that's how we like you, not annoyed. And speaking of not annoyed, if you have a minute, do you want to tell people what you're doing up next with?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. So the new copy of Mad is out, and I have a takeoff on of a TV show called Fixer Upper.
Oh.
In that
Good choice.
show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's a very long satire, 6-page satire on Fixer Upper. Turns out that the show is wildly popular because every time I say, you may not have heard this, and go, what are you kidding? I watched that show. So there's Fixer Upper in Mad, and the GizWiz, the weekly GizWiz show every week is at GizWiz.TV. And
Good
on
to hear
with
that you've kept that
Leo.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, and Leo every Saturday on the Tech Guys. So I have a lot of toys left, which will be great for our next segment when people start thinking about fall and what to get the kids for Christmas.
90 seconds.
Definitely. And I cannot wait for it. And again, if you want a sneak peek at maybe some stuff we will talk about next time, or if you just want to catch up on anything we've talked about before, again, GizWiz.biz, non-paid lackey fun on Computer America, and everything with links and Amazon links are available right there. And I'm just gonna say thank you so much, Dick, for being on with us. And of course, we'll send Craig your best because I know he really does enjoy the segments that you're on with us. So
60 seconds.
yeah, I'm sure he regrets missing the show, but we know he's listening. So so again, thanks for being on the show.
You're welcome. And Craig, get well fast.
Definitely get well fast. So, and everyone else out there, thanks for tuning in. This about wraps up tonight's show. We are back tomorrow yet again, and we are finishing up exactly like guest. We'll have it all set in stone tomorrow. But I know we have a company called G-Stream scheduled to be on, and they make a streaming platform where you pay a one-time fee and everything is free. Television shows, movies, and what have you. Check that out. We're going to have another guest in the second hour, I believe. But lots of fun. Tune in, computeramerica.com. You'll find it there first. And yeah, we hope to see all of you here bright and early tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Seconds.
So until tomorrow, I hope everyone has a great day and hope that your hard drive never gets floppy. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
There we go. And Dick, once again, thanks for coming on.
Okay, you're welcome. I'll talk to you in September.
Yeah, whenever last Wednesday of the month is. Perfect.
Very good. Okay, bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye.